Okay, welcome back to the continuation of this live trading. Just keep going on the same day here, and so we're just picking up where we left off. As you see there on the there's a resistance level overhead, by the way. And so let's point that out because that's a unique one that not many people talk about or even know or definitely rarely use. And if you look, you can see it really best on the long-term chart, S1-S2. See that, the gray line there, and then the notation above that on the right of the longer-term chart. So that's what we call a half pivot. And so you'll see S2 below that in the light blue, and that's support. And then also, by the way, you can see S2, S3 at the very bottom part of that chart. So S1, S2 above where we currently are in the price is the halfway point between S2 and S1. Since they're support, they're below the mid pivot, and the mid pivot is above us still. So we are below the mid pivot, which is kind of generally on the bearish side of the market. But of course, when you're doing real short-term trading like this, 200 tick charts, 600 tick charts, very, very fast charts. So we can definitely get uptrends like we have moves here, even though we're below the mid pivot. I just use them as support resistance level. Some people use them as saying we're in bullish or bearish territory. In other words, if you're above the mid pivot, you're in bullish territory. If you're below, you're in bearish. And there's some general truth to that, but I don't really find it all that useful. So I'm just really looking at them as support resistance levels. Anyway, the bottom line here is most people are not even going to see that resistance level overhead. And as you can see, the market is responding to it. And so if you can just plot them manually if you want to. I don't know too many indicators that actually provide the mid pivots. They usually just provide the regular floor trader pivots, but if you get the Top Dog Trading custom indicators, then we do have the mid pivots on there for you. And they automatically plot. They're especially good if the previous day was a wide range day, by the way. So we give you the option of plotting them or not plotting them. And so if the previous day was a narrow range day, I normally don't plot them. It creates too many lines. You don't want too many support resistance levels on your charts. Otherwise, there's just too many lines. The market can't really go anywhere without running into a line. It kind of becomes meaningless. So the time when those really come into play and help you a lot is when there's a lot of space between the floor trader pivots. And that's created by having a wide range day on the previous day. So that's why I put them on there today. And as you can see, there's a big, big, big gap between S2 and the S2, S3 below. So big difference there. Okay, not much happening here right now. Again, this is, the joys of a live market is that sometimes just not much is really going on. It's happening slowly. So, yeah, that's just the way it is. So this is, a lot of people say, oh, I wish you would do a chat room or a live trading room. And, it's like right now, this is what it would be 80% of the time. There's just not much going on. So it's kind of, not a lot to say. Hard to sit there and talk for 6.5 hours when there's, 90% of the time, not really anything to be talking about. So, come up with stuff like that to share with you. But anyway, that's still an important thing, that we do have a resistance level there that most people would not see. You could call that invisible resistance in the sense that if you have it on your chart, the people on the other side of your trade will not see it. The vast majority of them will not see that. So, it gives you an edge, right? And we all want an edge in trading. Well, there you go. There's another edge, mid pivots. Alrighty. Well, we are working on a first retrace in the trend on the short-term chart. So that is the setup that we have here, of course. Mom did stay above 0. We got a 1, 2, 3 down on Mom, which is average. We're heading back up here slowly, like molasses. So we'll see if we can put in a wave 3 on the short-term chart. So that's the trade we have. And we're definitely going to take profits here at that, well, you know what? Here, let's see. Yeah. Take profits right there. That's our first cycle high on the short-term chart. Since the setup's on the short-term chart, by the way, oh, here's a good point. So anyway, we're in cycle high territory and we're at resistance. So that's where I take my first exit. Now, the question becomes, is that the cycle high? We don't know yet, right? We won't actually know for sure if that is the final cycle high until D gets back down to 55. So trading intra-bar, we're not trading confirmed signals. We're trading just, yeah, what's going on at that moment. So it's all about, again, never about predictions, never about knowing. It's never about certainty. It's money management at this point. Great. We've got a cycle high. We're in a cycle high zone and we're at resistance. So therefore, to make sure I lock in some profits and don't take a loss on this trade, you know, I lock in profits there. And that's what there is to that. So sometimes people say, well, you know, we don't know if that's a cycle high or not yet. And that's true. You don't. So what? You think there's certainty in trading? That's the mistake. See, people want certainty in trading. Well, me too. I do too. I don't blame you. But you're never going to get it. Neither am I. So it just doesn't happen. By the time everything's certain, the trade's already over. It's done. So this is why trading is always risky. We're always trading, you know, things that are happening, not that have happened. And therefore, that's why you use money management and risk management, is because you never know how it's going to end. That's why I don't even like the word trading. I like the word speculation. Showing my age there. Back to the days of Jesse Livermore. They called it speculation back in those days. I like it because it reminds me that we are speculating. And that word speculation implies risk. And yeah, this is risky. Trading, I don't even know where the word trading came from. What am I trading? It's not like bartering where I trade you cattle for a horse, you know. I don't know. Anyway, I guess I sort of get it, but it just doesn't do it for me. So I get hung up on language sometimes, but it's meaningful. Anyway, we did put in a wave 3 there, or at least I shouldn't say we put in a wave 3, but we definitely have at the very least, we are going to have a confirmed wave 3. And that's because the real body of one of the candlesticks during this cycle high did open and close above the high of wave 1. So we are definitely putting in a wave 3. Could move higher, but we will not get a failed 3 out of this for sure. Notice also, by the way, this is very important. Oh, this is very interesting. Okay, now look what we got here, folding. We've got a wave 5 on the long-term chart. We've got second chance patterns on high, concurrent highs on both time frames. Okay, so yeah, that is very interesting. So we get alignment of the energies here in the sense of, I love it when, you know, there's two kinds of concurrents we talk about. So we talk about concurrent cycle highs and lows. That's when you have a cycle low on both time frames at the same time, or a cycle high on both time frames at the same time. Love those, especially if they have second chance patterns. Then that's like really great. And then the other concurrent type of thing we talk about is concurrent setups, where you get setups on each chart and an entry at the exact same time on both. So in other words, you'd have a scalping trade and a cherry picking trade occurring at the very same entry. Now we don't have that here because we wouldn't short a wave 3 long trend, uptrend. And typically we wouldn't even short a wave 5 long trend. So we don't really have that here. But anyway, Just want to point that out because those concurrent patterns are really cool. All right, back down into cycle low territory on the short-term chart. So we'll see. We may have a reload pattern here. See, we got that reload pattern setting up on the short term. So that would be super cool if we get that. And then that would be actually fantastic. I love these reload patterns. Reload pattern, again, means that the 50 MA is angling up, and we get at least a 5-wave pattern down on MOM. So MOM is trending down while the 50 MA is angling up. All right, we're going to stop here, and we'll pick up where we left off.